I want to be spooked right now. And it looks like a spooky story. Okay. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered at the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own. The creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes. Rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves that there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still. Episode 1. The Owl Will Arrive. Is this like Fran Bow episodes? How many episodes are there? I literally know nothing about this game. I was just like, it's spooky and it's got a bunny on it. I love it.
Книгу немедленно.
Hey, put away your book.
Сколько раз говорила, не читай за столом, вредно. Сидишь,
How-
сутулился весь.
How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. I guess all I can do is hide. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. Now this game is in a lot of different languages, and I only recognized 2. Not that I'm like a linguist, like I am bare minimum, like average to smart American, and that bar is so low. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Olya, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing names. Olya had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic, she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials.
Пока не съешь, из-за стола не встанешь.
You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if that would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Cousteau Odyssey. I love that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is, or how cold the black forest is at night. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes.
Что я говорила?
What did I just say?
Я достану.
His name's Anton. I'll get it. So we have Anton, the mother, and Olya, I believe. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this? Carved on the other side of the table. Karina. My little sister and I used to draw on the other side of the coffee table all the time. But it's in a trash dump somewhere now. Ha, that's my mom's name. So the mother's name is Karina. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? No, she's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. By lately, you mean the past few years, I'm guessing. I imagine her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? And I think it said Anton was 12. I imagine my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed where Olya sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice.
Тайга особое место, дитятка.
Taiga is a special place, little girl.
Она к тебе присматривается, принюхивается.
It's watching you closely, sniffing you out.
Словно хочет понять, что ты за зверь такой.
Trying to discern what kind of beast you are.
Понравишься, в беде не бросит.
If you are a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble.
А будешь проказничать, схватит за бочок и утащит с собой под землю.
But if you are a bad apple, it will grab you by the side and drag you under the ground.
Тут и дело с концом.
And that would be it. Grandmothers, am I right? Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Could never be my Spanish grandmother. But whatever. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket, and she called it her cute funeral box. Why do I vibe with this grandma so bad? Abuela, yo necesitas amigas. It waited for its time in the closet patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only All of the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Olia was done with her cookies and was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze towards the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass.
Оля, гляди, лиса!
Oh yeah, look, it's a fox. The art's so beautiful. Where? It almost looked like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit and look at a certain angle.
Да не на улице, на стекле.
Not outside, on the window.
Смотри, вот нос, вот.
Look, here's the nose, and
Ну-ка,
here's...
доедай.
Hey, eat up.
Да, да, сейчас.
Yes, just a moment.
Я ничего не вижу.
I don't see anything.
Живо. Совсем немного осталось.
Hurry up, there's not much left.
А, вот. Но все равно не похоже.
There it is. But it still doesn't look like one.
А я говорю, похоже.
And I'm telling you it does.
Не-а.
Nya-uh.
Похоже.
She's so cute. It does.
Прекратите. Ну что за дети?
Stop it, these kids, I swear. Now I couldn't see the fox either. Are we meant to? It disappeared. I can't see it. Went away. Only the frost patterns, similar to stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. My dad entered the kitchen with a long, measured step. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. I can straight up honestly say I don't understand the male perspective. Like, I'm going to try and pull this story off as best I can for you from all points of view, but I do not have a grasp on the male perspective. It doesn't make sense to me. Mom would always ask jokingly, "Come on, shave it off. It stings." This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Olya always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, "What's the point in all this?" through the wall. "It's all for your sake," Dad would reply. "For the sake of our family." I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. Let's destigmatize divorce here. Sometimes it is the best thing that can happen to a family. The very best. D-I-V-O horseshit. I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families. That did actually happen to me and my little sister.
Твоя лиса. Вот у меня на окне сова.
Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window.
Опять ты со своей совой.
You and your owl talk again?
Так ты же вчера мне верил.
You said you believed me just yesterday.
Никто ключи от машины не видел?
Has anyone seen my car keys?
Вроде оставлял на подоконнике.
I remember leaving them on the windowsill.
Вроде.
Right.
Вроде оставлял, вроде нет.
Maybe you did and maybe not.
Вроде взрослый мужчина, отец двоих детей, а вроде...
You're a grown man, a father of two, and still...
Перестань, пожалуйста, Карина.
Karina, please stop.
Дай мне спокойно собраться.
Just let me get ready in peace.
В корзине твои ключи, возле телефона.
Your keys are in the basket near the phone.
Огромное тебе человеческое спасибо.
Well, thank you very much.
Антон, ешь быстрее, а то как мученик сидишь.
Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already.
А сова?
But the owl...
Не было там никакой совы.
There was no owl.
Была.
But there was one.
Глазюки огромные. Во, и светятся.
It had giant glowing eyes. Oya sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers, the size of an apple each.
В прошлом году бабай в шкафу. Сейчас сова?
Last year you had babai in your closet, and now this owl?
Но я же видела.
Oh shit, there was a glossary. KS babai. Babai, in Slavic folklore, a nocturnal spirit used by parents to threaten their ill-behaving children. Why is parenting so fucking cruel? But I saw it. Oya shifted her gaze back and forth from dad to mom to me, but couldn't find any
А
support.
ты не думала подружиться с ней, нет?
Have you thought about befriending it? I'm just gonna put this here so it's here for the whole stream. There we go. Sorry, that was a rough line. For me, personally.
Вымышленными мышами покормить, например.
You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice.
Не подначивай ребенка.
Don't bully our girl.
Просто мала еще, и спать одна боится.
She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Olya pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute passed, and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. Can you look up when The Little Mermaid first debuted?
When the movie came out.
That's true.
You know,
That's true. That's very true.
it's just a hard guess.
But it is at least 1989. It was stored on incredibly worn out cassette tape, which Dad had already glued together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together. For example, but how do you fix a relationship? You take accountability, or I'm not even going to get into it. That's a whole just talking, just chatting. And you know what? I I stopped going for my degree. I'm done. Um, Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Olya had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. So we got VCR cassette tapes. That's typical for the late 80s. Cartoons helped to take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. It's Gengar. But then Olya said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Olya refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. Stolas, are you behaving? After last night, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? That night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect from my new school. So they just moved. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. Nightmares. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. I'd prefer that to high school, honestly. High school was not kind to me. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside these holes. It was as if some completely different creature were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Their cruel glares filled with icy sneers made me shiver from head to toe. No, it was the people telling me to go kill myself at 14. Like, I think I would have done better with the shadow people. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloodied shoes? The damn school can burn for all I care. Oh, I said the proper term for unaliving yourself. Demonetized. I just wished for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of new offensive names for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some kind of monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the wall. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olya begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. If you had a hard time in high school, maybe don't play this game. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they all promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." Or, "Anton isn't around." Anton is not around. I imagined my future classmates lying in their beds, just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I don't know, ask Daniel Radcliffe. I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. She do be a dime piece. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with the TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. You know, this kind of my vibe, though. Like, I need to have all the things going on at once, or I need to live out in the woods in the middle of nowhere, which I currently do. Our current house, though, I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easy going during the day. Excuse me. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. Can I do a spacebar for a... Oh, yeah, hell yeah. Stolas, move over. Yes. I'm a genius. No, I'm not. I'm just like the most basic gamer ever, even after 2 years of doing this. Someone please take pity on me. I'm gonna smoke while I do this. Oh, happy circus music. That's not creepy. But they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family, with their ashen eyes, were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking. Rusty drains were moaning. The attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. Sorry, I played sax, so flutes are like effing annoying. If anyone sends me Flight of the Bumblebee on flute, I'm blocking them immediately. I'm so sorry. It's not funny. Like, I'm not kidding. Don't do it. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind. Or the creaking old house. And my thoughts, too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. Every time they take steps, I get scared because I think it's steps coming from someone else. Because who the fuck is that loud? It's not like someone is playing it there amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Oh boy. Beautiful. It's like watching those two suicidal foxes we have.
Playing around.
I don't think they have rabies or anything. They just really like running in front of cars at night. Fucking idiots. And I'd really like for them to not to, because I like them. I would like for them to stay alive. That's so beautiful. And with the music. Someone was dancing in the field. Black silhouettes I could barely make out, with the dark forest as their backdrop. This reminds me a lot of the aesthetic of Watership Down.
It does, yeah.
By Richard Adams. It was developed into an animated movie. Just because it's an animated movie does not mean it's for children. If you have a very soft spot for animals, don't watch that, and definitely don't watch Plague Dogs. But if you're like okay with that, you should definitely give those two a look. When I was in 3rd grade, they were free on YouTube, and I believe they're still free on YouTube. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around, and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. One kind of looks like a bear. One kind of looks like it has wings. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment, then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Yeah, I'm about to strip naked and join them. Sorry. Not a furry, just like a nature witch. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly the music had stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear, pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. The kangaroo's gonna get me. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion, enveloping the room in darkness, where these things seem to thrive, and stepped back towards the bed. They saw me. Duh, they saw you. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into bed and covered myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral. My grandmother lying there, hands crossed on her chest. Her facial features sharp, like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spells she taught me throughout the whole procedure. And now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words.
На острове Буяне, в Синем океане, стоит домовина, в ней сало и глина, волосы седые, чертям еда, раба Божьего Антона не тронут никогда.
Oh shit, my turn. I'm gonna take a toke first, because that's a lot of things I'm going to mispronounce. What language is this? They're Slavic? Is Slavic a language?
Slavic is a region, I believe. Like a region of languages. Like
Can you check out what language it is?
I don't know, but I can listen for. I can try.
That question was literally so stupid, I don't know why I didn't mute my mic for it. Just... yeah, they won't hear me. On the island of Buyan, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. There lay lard and ashen hair for the spawn from devil's lair to feast and always leave alone God's faithful servant named Anton. No, I need a recap. Wait, hang on. Back. Okay. She taught me throughout the whole procedure. So the procedure wasn't to bring her back. It was to keep him safe.
They're speaking Russian.
Huh?
They're speaking Russian.
They speak Russian?
I think they're speaking Russian. I think you can change it, maybe. It says there's a hair pause in the top left corner. There's a hair pause in the top left corner of the main menu. One that says E and G. Should let you change the language. If you didn't do that,
Pause on the top left corner.
probably the main menu.
Settings. Yo no saba. Está bien. I don't know about the rest of that, but like it generally seems to be keeping him safe. Evil leave this house must.
Мертвый к мертвому.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hanged man. And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. Ooh, that gives spider in the ear vibes. In reality, something or someone were scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I actually recommend everyone doing this. I know most doors come with that little rinky-dink lock. Get a longer one. I remember him staring at the forest intently as if he was looking for someone.
Мертвое к мертвому.
Ashes to ashes,
Живому.
dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness. And then the doorknob twitched slightly. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more, and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now, you'll see. The door was open wide. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of a doorway. The doorway is carnivorous now. It eats people. To Sha. It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. To Sha Nai. Oh. To Nai. So to Sha and to Nai. What do those mean? My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me,
Спишь, Тоша?
Tosha? You asleep? My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief.
Оля, я не сплю. Что случилось?
Oh yeah, I'm not sleeping? Did something happen? Olia frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry.
Оно опять прилетело и пялится на меня.
It's there again, staring at me.
Прогони ее, Тоша. Прогони, пожалуйста.
Shoo her away, Tosha, please.
Я так боюсь.
I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olia down.
Это был сон, глупая. Не пугайся. Сны не кусаются. Никто тебя не обидит.
Ooh, gaslighting is not the way. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Olia sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself?
У меня есть идея.
Yo tengo una idea.
А пойдем к тебе в комнату, видик посмотрим. Спящую красавицу, например.
Let's go to your room and watch the video Sleeping Beauty, for example.
Тебе же нравится этот мультик?
You like that cartoon, don't you?
Почему у спящей красавицы принца у меня эта страшная птица?
Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? Why are the indie horror games so relatable and I didn't give anyone license to take anything from my life? We need a bingo card for like...
I told you, everyone is fucked up.
I know, but birds?
Birds are scary.
They are scary. They used to be dinosaurs. Also, one almost ate my sister. Deadass. I'm not kidding. It's irrefutable evidence and proof. Like, I saw this firsthand. I may have been a little bit high, but I swear, like, on goddesses, this happened. That question took me by surprise.
Ладно, давай посмотрим Золушку.
Alright, let's watch Cinderella. Cinderella has a lot of woodland creatures too. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. Oh shit, what if you gotta tone your hair? Will it accept toned hair?
Тоша, ты идешь?
Tosha, you coming?
Да, да, сейчас.
Yes, yes, just a moment. Down, puppy. That's why I don't want to laugh at Oya and her owl in the morning. This is why I have a doorbell drilled into a wooden frame connected to nothing. You can press it all you like. I won't be answering. Who would be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. Seriously, if I don't know you're coming over, you're not coming over. I felt extremely unsettled just from a silly thought that our morning guest could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. Yo, put that porridge in the garbage, Yen. Yo, run. In the closet, under the table, behind the curtain, where Oya always hides. Oh, she hides behind the curtain. Tosha, come here. I felt the kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them towards the hallway. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. ACAB. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused.
Здравствуйте.
Hello? The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded.
Тут мальчик вчера потерялся. Вовой зовут.
A boy has gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova.
Глянь, пожалуйста. Ты его не видел?
Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The police held out a photograph to me. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. So weird. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. So, elementary age. That's like up to 11. Anton is 12. I feel like elementary age is up to 11. Yeah. So he would be just younger than him. Or Anton would be just older than this boy.
Нет.
No, I haven't.
Точно? Посмотри внимательнее.
Are you sure? Look closely.
Где мне его видеть? Я тут никого не знаю, да и из дома-то почти не выхожу.
Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. And you know what? For where they are, rugs on the wall make a lot of sense.
А может, видел в окно?
Well, maybe you've seen him from the window.
Да, у тебя ведь окна на лес.
That's right. Your window looks straight at the forest, don't they? The window.
Нет, не видел.
No, I haven't seen anything.
Ясно.
I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes. The artwork on this is beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. His stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. What cops isn't? I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. You know how you could be driving perfectly at the speed limit, under the speed limit, like with the flow of traffic, whatever. You see a cop and you automatically start acting guilty. Like you have something to hide even though you don't. It's the worst feeling. Does anyone else get that? Or is it like an American thing? Like, I don't know. Someone inform. Like, the presence of cops here are just so hostile. Like, you see one and you're just like, I better be on my best behavior, and even if I am and I get pulled over, I hope I don't die. Especially for people of color. Anyway, way off track. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway, and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason.
Вы, кстати, как на новом месте? Попривыкли уже?
How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it?
Понемногу, только вот дочка маленькая по городу скучает.
Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot.
Скучает, значит. Из местных вас никто не беспокоит?
Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well?
Все хорошо, спасибо.
Yes, everything is alright, thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his brown eyes. My head started spinning.
Может, вам помочь как-то?
Can I help you somehow? Yeah, like a cop just standing in your doorway, staring at your son, letting all your heat out is kind of like door close worthy. I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner.
Я вот стою и думаю.
Sorry. I'm dramatic. Now that I think about it...
Ты, малец, на племеша моего похож.
You look just like one of my nephews, little fella. Don't little fella people. He talks to you with respect, talk to him with respect.
Шустрый парнишка твоих лет. С такими же окулярами. Все книжками зачитывался. Детективами.
He's a witty boy around your age. Wears the same type of goggles. Haha. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels.
Когда летом погостить приезжал. Говорит, что в школу милиции мечтает поступить.
By mystery novels, do you mean true crime? Sorry, I'm sorry, that's the last job. He's gotta go though, like you need to leave the premises or else I'm going to keep coming for you. Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer. Okay, whatever, lip service.
Как я. Хотел людям помогать. Смекаешь?
Wanted to help other people just like me, see? You are so sus. I felt uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable. As if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me.
Ох, ребятушки.
You know what?
Сидите-ка вы лучше дома. Не ввязывайтесь ни во что. Жизнь сейчас совсем другая пошла.
Little boys like you should stay at home. Steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Now this is at least the late 1980s, early 1990s, and onward. Mom interjected in a cold voice.
Мне ли не знать?
You don't say.
Ну да ладно.
Ah, well then.
Ты, Антон, в каком классе учишься?
What grade are you in, Anton? Do you want to come back with a warrant?
В 6.
6.
Друзей-то на новом месте еще не завел?
Have you made any friends here so far?
Пока нет. Я только после каникул в школу пойду.
Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break.
Тогда вот вам на всякий случай мой номер. Звоните, если узнаете что.
Ah, then I'll leave you my number just in case. Call me if you have any new information. The policemen were gone, along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wonder what it was like for him, being all alone, there. For some reason, I thought of the forest, swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Would they accuse each other like they always do? And forget about me eventually?
Мам, а Вова этот в нашем лесу заблудился?
Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our forest?
Выходит, что так. Бедный ребенок.
Seems like it, poor child. I looked out the window at the road. The police UAZ drove off towards the village. A Soviet Russian off-road freight passenger car brand, which was produced on the Ulyanovsk car factory. I'm so sorry for the pronunciation. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the... What info thing do I need? Black Kitty is a series of contemporary Russian original or translated teen mystery books. Okay, so Black Kitty is like Boxcar Children Nancy Drew. I remember all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, bam, solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest. I would just like to point out real quick that the biggest reason not to play Scooby-Doo with your friends is the movie The Good Neighbor. And if you haven't watched it, give it a watch. It's really great. Super sad. Really great. But don't get involved. And then it clicked in my head. Maybe I'll find that lost boy. I feel like I double-clicked the spacebar. I'm so sorry if I missed something. Hang on. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Maybe I'll find the boy. This is so user-friendly. And I'll get a reward. I don't know why you think that, but Olya will be so happy. Probably the kids' parents too. And not only Olya, mom and dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. I'm not saying the D word. Just like I don't say the R word. It's a divorce. And honestly, I think your parents need it. I fantasized about buying Olya a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. And there's that annoying song about it. Accountant, a song by an all-female Soviet pop band by the name of Combination that became wildly popular in the 90s. I wonder what that was about. I'm gonna have to research that later. Interdusting. Sorry, I like weird history. I had little to no idea what the accountant's job like. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, mom and dad barely had money to afford sweets, and dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olya. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I want to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. That's so big sibling energy. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues.
Пойду погуляю.
I'm going outside.
Ага, сейчас.
Yeah, right.
Чтобы потом милиционеры с твоей фотографией по домам ходили.
You want the police to go around with your photograph next?
Лес вон какой густой.
The forest is so thick.
А если мальчика звери дикие утащили? Или того хуже?
They did really well with her voice. So beautiful. Even when she's scolding. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals or something even worse? Even worse echoed through the
Да
hallway.
я рядом буду. В лес не пойду.
I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest.
Что я тебе сказала? Мне дважды повторять.
Did you hear what I said, or should I repeat myself?
Лучше портфель собери или соли поиграй.
Better go pack your school bag or play with Olya. The sound of... I need to get some shittier headphones because every sound in this surprises me.
That's the point.
I know. They're too good. They're not even that good. JB Flip knows what it's doing for a low price. Like, goddamn, I am scared. I should watch a movie with these. Yes. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself on the freshly sharpened axe. And Olya can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Babaya is in there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratched walls. But she still didn't believe me. And I like to hide in the closet and listen to Olya count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaky floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. The axe is in there, that's good. Why would we go to the kitchen? The mother's in the kitchen. Yo, I was a early 90s baby. Like, you stayed outside. You did not stay in the house, because if you stay in the house, then your parents will find work for you to do. You do not go specifically to the room that your parent is in, which is currently the kitchen. I'm not going to the kitchen. That's ridiculous.
Антон,
Ah, shit. I got caught.
сейчас 3 дня получишь. Ни шагу за порог.
Ay, Dios mío. Anton, I'll whip you if you make a single step out the door. We are not given many options. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olya there, but now... What is... Pelmeni? Pelmeni? A Russian variety of dumplings made by boiling thin, unleavened dough filled with mincemeat. One may even call it Russian fast food. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olya there, but now I could only see meat bits for soup and clumped together pelmeni. I grew to hate them already. It was difficult to lie to Mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from home.
Мам, там что-то с телевизором случилось.
Mom, something's wrong with the television.
Картинка какая-то тусклая, и экран весь в полосах.
The picture is dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted.
Без ножа меня режешь. Дострелялся в уток своих.
Ah, you're killing me. So have you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now?
Говорила же, посадите мне кинескоп своей приставкой.
Told you the kinescope will go dim because of your console.
Где мы теперь мастера найдем в дыре этой, а?
Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh?
Может быть, Просто настройки сбились.
Maybe it's just the settings.
Сходи, посмотри, пожалуйста.
Please go see for yourself.
Нормально же работал с утра.
Strange, it worked fine in the morning.
Из-за снегопада, наверное, неполадки.
Maybe the snowfall caused it. Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Olya's room. I opened the front gate and went into the field. Carefully, so Mom wouldn't see me from the front window. When I crossed half the distance towards the forest, the snow piles oh god, I love the sound of wind. When I crossed half the distance towards the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there. Distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me, and a barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent, I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olya. The time reached its limit. A one-way trip that ended at the forest piney at the forest stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olya turned to stone listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple of days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughed, or spent time together, almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Olya present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke out, and our parents were hurriedly unpacking our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with dead cold eyes who sometimes visited in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything? And somewhere far away, a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. There was only me, this white field, and that wind was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looks especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles froze into the ice. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. Streets of Broken Lights is a Russian mystery TV series telling a story of the daily life of Russian police officers. It's the longest running series in the history of Russian TV at the moment. Cool. He was also anxious with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this mitten help them find the lost boy? Yova! I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Yova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Yova resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there behind the trees, hiding. Yova! I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally towards the ground, its blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment when I turned my gaze back to the same place it was gone. So it was my imagination after all? Silence reigned for a painfully long time. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing of that sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Well, I went after that. Yova. I'm gonna die in Act 1. A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. I stepped towards the bristly tree and tried to claim my find. It didn't budge. I pulled harder, the branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. Nice to meet you. All too heavy. Wet. I squeezed it without thinking and something dark spilled from it. Bitch, if you let go of that thing, I will hurt you. Sorry, I don't talk that way to 12-year-olds. Forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. Oh, it's fresh. Son, grab the hand. It's like little nightmares. Grab my hand. I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. The sound of crackling branches invaded the silence. Oh, I endgamed on the first chapter. I didn't have to think twice before running away. What is wrong with you? Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me strength, spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from twisted pines, from under the windfall, from where you left the evidence probably. Hurry, run, don't look back. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became viscous like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone. My boot slipped out of the hole and my soles were on hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump and from there ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. That house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the door, stepped, smashed into the door. Something, as if a dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and it obediently gave way. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth, pulling hard on the knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Something was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. Smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. What did... Oh, warmer please. And refill. Thank you. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you to never slam that door?
Я случайно.
I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone, and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring. And with it, the last bit of strength I had left my body to. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with
Ты где
snow.
был? Я тебе что
Where have you
говорила?
been?
Чтобы ты дома сидел.
Lo siento. Disculpe. Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home.
Я и для тебя пустое место.
Am I nothing to you? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her, like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. That's so sad. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out.
У отца сигареты пропали.
Your dad can't find his cigarettes.
Признавайся, ты их стащил? Курить бегаешь?
Be honest, did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret?
Там
А-
за мной кто-то гнался. И я думал, меня...
There was someone chasing me. I thought... I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and I sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant and she covered her mouth with her hand.
Гляди, вон же они. Прямо у забора.
Look, over there, at the fence. My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I've heard something scratching at the door, just like in my nightmares. Mom beckoned me with her finger, and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window, facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs. Just a small pack of strays with no name and no owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest.
Божечки, ты их испугался? Да они сами тебя перепугаются, Антон.
Oh boy, were you scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton.
Они гнались за мной, словно за зайцем.
They were chasing me, like a bunny.
А вдруг они бешеные?
And what if they're rabid? The smile had slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Hi, Broken. We're good. Fire's right here. Broken says hi.
Hello.
New game today. Tiny Bunny. It's another indie horror. How are you doing? Yo, I am loving the cold weather. How about you? The smile had slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them.
Что если они нападут на Олю?
You're too much. What if they attack Olya? Yeah, exactly. Packs of wild dogs are like no joke. What are y'all doing for Halloween? I don't know what I'm doing for Halloween. I think I actually have a VA appointment. Where are you eating? You're gonna be so mad at me. I lost so much weight. I have not been eating. Fire's eating cake.
Right now.
Currently for breakfast because we're adults. But Halloween, I think I have a VA appointment. So boring. I know I have we have counseling. And I don't know. I know Friday the 13th, I am going to New York to see The Exorcist in theaters with my friends. I'm so happy. Also, look at my spooky do nails. I don't know if you could see them.
Мам,
Вот бы твой отец их всех перестрелял.
Oh God, no, don't shoot all the feral dogs. Just like find them homes, separate them, like de-aggressivize them, something. Just don't shoot them. Fuck, they're not coyotes. I wish your dad could just shoot them all.
мама, они живые.
Mom, look, they're
А
alive.
что?
Huh? What?
Ты уж определись, они тебе друзья или враги?
Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind.
Ведь уже.
You're not a little kid anymore. Mom sighed in annoyance, and I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb-ridden corner just to keep myself from crying. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid stray dogs. And for what? What use do I have for this? Mitten. Do you still have it? Of course! A darkened, sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. Good job. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom. Here, Mom, have a hand.
Мам, смотри, это Вовина варежка.
Oh boy. Mom. Look, this is Volva's mitten.
Ну того, про которого утром милиция спрашивала.
The boy the police were asking about this morning? I have new information. He only has one hand.
Она вся в крови, на дереве висела. Вон там, могу показать.
It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show where.
Давай в милицию скорее позвоним, как нас участковый просил.
Let's call the police right away like the officer had told us to. This kid is 12, mind you, in the late 80s, early 90s, for reference. He's not dumb, he's just naive.
Мам, гляди!
Mom, look.
Фу!
Ew. A shadow of doubt slowly crept onto Mom's contorted face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone tries to remember their dream, but the image slips away.
А ну-ка прекрати сейчас же.
Stop at this
Оля
moment.
тебя услышит, с ума сойдет.
Olya will go insane if she hears
Она и
you.
так не спит, на все подряд жалуется.
She already has trouble sleeping and whines all the
Еще и
time.
ты со своими шуточками.
And you joke around like this? At that moment, I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. Shit, I would too.
Иди сюда, паникер.
Come here, my boy who cried wolf.
Да не стой столбом. Вот, таблетку на. Быстро пей.
Oh, don't just stand there. Come and take your pills. A golden-colored pill, reminiscent of a dead wasp, fell into my palm. That's pretty.
Я уже пил сегодня, за завтраком.
I already took one during breakfast.
Попререкайся мне еще.
Don't talk over me. I hate when parents
Сказала
over-medicate.
дома сидеть, нет же.
I told you to stay home and
Был
you...
бы отец выпорол.
Dad would have given you a good whipping for that, so I'm going to over-medicate you. What?
Сейчас же выпей, а то ночью не уснешь. Тебе ведь в школу завтра.
Come on, take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night, and you have school tomorrow. So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Chlorine water's not so bad. Yes, I swim in many pools. Maybe it wasn't Volva's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all. Just like the forest monsters. And Olya's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Your mother's certainly over-medicating you. Either the pill had an immediate effect or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawning indifference along with it.
Антон, выпил? Можешь, если захочешь.
Anton, you done? See, you can do it when you try.
Раздевайся. Уснул, что ли?
Take off your coat. Are you asleep?
Нет, мам, просто задумался.
No, Mom. I was just thinking.
Интересно, о чем же?
What about, I wonder?
Так, глупости всякие.
It's just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure what she was looking at. Her own son and not some doppelganger that came from the forest?
Точно все нормально?
Is everything alright?
У тебя такое лицо было, когда милиционер про окно спросил.
You had the same exact expression when the police asked you about the window.
Все нормально, мам.
I'm alright, Mom. She gave a deep sigh.
Хорошо.
Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. Sometimes spiders crawl in and out of the wall. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Olya was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink, and studied my reflection in the mirror. I hate mirrors. Sorry, lo siento. Like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Yeah, it's cute until you can. Then I went upstairs. Jafar and Iago's voices died down. I walked past Olya's bedroom and slipped into my own. Un momento, por favor. Lo siento. Estoy bien. Oh. ¿Qué está? My Triceratops figurine. I know about all sorts of dinosaurs. Velociraptors, Afrovenators, Hypsilophodonts, He knows more than I do. I remember going to the movies to see Jurassic Park back when we still lived in the city and taking pictures with the T-Rex in the hall. Oh, that's precious. It turned its head and roared. It was awesome. And next to it was a Robotech transformer. I love this cartoon. When a jet fighter speeds up into the intro, among the sound of blaster fire, you know your next 20 minutes will surely be amazing. Zenchity? Space... I know I mispronounced that. Space station is captured. Rick, get ready for battle. What's your favorite dinosaur? Like, if I had to pick one to be, it obviously... Why is Olya in my room? And please, just be Olya. I won't even be mad. I would really want to be born as a velociraptor. Hunting in packs and, like... just chilling with fam, like being able to communicate. But I think I would actually be a little compy, just one of those stupid little things, those ankle biters. One of the drawers was empty. I hid the mitten there. The simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. I sat on the bed. Fuck, brah. And only then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to medication I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort, as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The corners of the room bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. Yo, I don't fuck with reflections. But that dude looked like his little sister. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor. It reminded me of burial sheets.
Оля,
Well, yeah. Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried lips.
Оля, очень смешно.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there. Not a human being. I reached towards the curtains. And then I went to my YouTube. Sorry. Shameless plug. Ba-dum. Ba-dum. Beat my heart. Controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices. For a second, I wanted to return to the bed. Just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking at me. Medication be doing that to people. Like, it doesn't actually fix the problem. It just makes you super okay with it in the moment. And that's not actually good. They're looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustle against the holder. Ooh, it's warm, I forgot. Plastic rings rustle against the holder when I pulled open the curtains.
Попался!
Gotcha!
Да я сразу понял, что это ты.
I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Olya's head, with the setting sun as the background. I know she doesn't look super happy in this, but this reminds me of the relationship they shared together. This little piece. I just love it. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. But I brought her to the window one day and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a light woven child. I feel like my little sister's like that.
А я все видела.
She has so much empathy. Kind of. I saw everything.
Да ну,
Oh, really?
Что ты спрятал?
What did you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little. Before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice.
ничего, просто...
It's nothing, just... Oya ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked,
Ты что-то украл и теперь прячешь?
You stole something and hid it there. Are you a thief?
Что? Глупая.
Gloope. I don't know what that is, but I hope it's stupid because it sounds adorable. What? Don't be stupid.
Ничего я не крал.
I didn't steal anything. A clear image came to mind. That mitten hanging from a tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest? From the tilted figure standing behind the black trees? Oya could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted.
Покажи тогда.
Then show me. Hell nah.
Поклянись, что никому не скажешь. Тогда покажу.
What? You are an irresponsible 12-year-old. Swear that you won't tell anyone, then I'll show you. Oya wore a plotting smile.
Клянусь маминым сердцем.
I swear on Mom's heart.
Не говори так.
Let's see what pioneer movement, an umbrella term for communist children organizations existing around the world, somewhat reminiscent of the Scout movement. This game's giving me homework. Don't say things like that. Ilya nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. Oh, you'll just show her the mitten, not like the whole location. That's fine. Oh my gosh, my anxiety. I legit thought he was gonna take her back there. To be fair, she is like super petite, like relatable to this, and I should have known better because she would not want to go to the location. She'd just be like, let me see the mitten. Covered in blood, you say? And what exactly were you on? Do you have any more? And may I have some? I opened the drawer and Oya leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten. But some sort of exotic critter? That's my exotic critter, if anyone would like to see. That's my dog. She's a 10-year-old Rottweiler with Lyme disease who needs to take her medicine. Sorry, we're working on the tick thing. We got like a bunch of chickens.
Это чья-то варежка?
Is this someone's mitten? She said that if she couldn't understand what she saw. She said that as if she couldn't understand what she saw.
Один мальчик потерял. И сам потерялся.
A certain boy lost it and got himself lost.
Теперь понимаешь, как опасно гулять в лесу, особенно детям?
Now you do understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander into the forest, right?
Ему, наверное, там очень холодно.
He must be really cold out there. I am heavily assuming that my little sister does not watch my Twitches or my YouTube, and a lot of things that I've divulged on here, some of the things she still does not know about. And that's such a her answer. Like, he must be really cold out there. I don't know. Maybe I'm like over innocentizing her a little bit.
She's grown as well now.
Yeah, she's grown now, but you tell my husband I love him. What you making for breakfast? Fire Broken said he loves you. Any reply?
Hey, Broken. I love you too.
I hope you heard that, Broken. He said he loves you too.
Его найдут?
Will they find him?
Обязательно.
They will. Aw, Broken, you would love meeting my little sister. She's so cute. She's like me, but not interested in like gaming at all per se. Like she used to when I used to make her if we had a 2-player game on the Sega Dreamcast when we were younger. But she is a wild child. She will just like up and go on countrywide trips, actually. Yeah. Pretty sure she burned down France when that happened.
Don't put that on your sister.
Huh?
Don't put that on your sister.
Okay, I'm not putting that on my sister, but like when she went to visit European countries, that is when France burned. And she's a little chaotic. But like, good chaotic. She's cute.
Участковый по домам ходит, всем фотографию его показывает.
The police are going house to house, showing his photo to everybody. Leah traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. Oh, look, a radiator. I love it.
А почему он по домам ходит, а не по лесу?
And why are they going to the houses and not the forest?
Боится?
Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. You would think, like, if he's lost in the forest, look for him in the forest. And just, like, send out a brochure with his name on it. Is that a thing that happened in, like, the early 90s? Not really.
Милиционеры ничего не боятся.
I can't even say that out loud in good confidence unless I'm incredibly high. I'm talking like LSD high. Like, I don't know what I'm saying. So, I'm not going to.
И лес они прочесали.
They've already scouted the forest. The 12-year-old believes. Yeah, right. Flashed my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? Or did it appear later for me? You know, what's the more rational thing? I changed the topic. As if trying to get Olya as far away from as possible from the forest thicket.
Если я сам найду пропавшего мальчика, нам, может, награду дадут.
We may get a reward if I go and find this boy myself.
Кучу всякого, как в поле чудес.
A lot of stuff, like in the Wheel of Fortune. Are you going to explain me the Wheel of Fortune? Oh, Field of Wonders. A Soviet and Russian TV game show, still running to this day, coming out every Friday, can be described as partially adapted version of Wheel of Fortune. Wow.
Клёво же.
Sounds cool, right? Olya wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her. Patricia and I always have those child eyes.
You do.
We always will. We gonna be like 50 and people still gonna be like, y'all in your late 20s? It's already begun.
А что, если эта сова его утащила?
What if the owl got him?
Ерунда.
Nonsense.
Не может сова поднять человека.
An owl won't be able to lift a human.
Вот что.
But you know what? I was picking my words with the utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted and overdrugged brain.
Ты в лес не суйся. Мне кажется, он какой-то,
Stay away from the forest. I think it's...
как бы сказать, проклятый,
How should I
что ли.
put it? It's cursed or something? What's the equivalent of picking your bra like a wedgie?
Reggie?
I don't know.
В сказке?
Just like in a fairy tale?
Нет, скорее, как на той страшной кассете, что родители прячут.
Which one? No, more like that spooky tape our parents hid from us. What was the first tape that you, like, definitely snuck that you knew you were not supposed to see? Mine was The Ring. My parents actually, well, not my mom. My dad actually let me watch The Exorcist, Silence of the Lambs, like all that good shit. But the first movie I had to sneak was at my friend's house, and we snuck The Ring. And for a week we were terrified. But that's the beauty of The Ring. After a week, if you live, like, you're not scared anymore. So, anyway, Olya shivered and stole a glance at the window.
Я видела, как ты убегал.
I saw you running away.
За тобой кто-то гнался?
Someone was chasing you.
Нет, просто, чтобы мама не волновалась, спешил домой.
She knows you're lying. Inner gaslighting. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind and her small fire would be gone.
Хорошо тебе.
You're lucky.
Меня вот мама не пускает даже на крыльцо.
Mom won't even let me go outside.
Как принцесса в башне сижу. Никуда не могу выйти.
I'm like a princess in the tower. Can't go anywhere.
Так и умру тут от скуки.
I'll die from boredom here.
Не придумывай.
You're wrong.
От скуки еще никто не умирал.
No one has ever died of boredom.
У тебя же есть я и мультики, а мама с папой скоро помирятся.
And you have me and your cartoons, and mom and dad will be good to each other soon.
Знаешь, что бы я загадала на следующий день рождения?
You know what I would wish for on my next birthday? What a weird way to word that.
Чтобы родители тоже в детей превратились. И мы бы все вместе играли, как раньше.
I would wish for mom and dad to turn into children so we could go and play together like we used to. This game has mental health warnings, but I feel like I should have read them more thoroughly. I feel stupid.
Read your warnings. Especially when they tell you to.
Like, that's all kids want, is your attention. They want to make memories with you. And it's so sad when someone grew up either making all the wrong memories, dragging their kids places that they didn't want to be, and they just want to hang out with their parent and not go from here to there to here to there, or their parent was never around and would gaslight them and like, yeah, I'm talking about me. Yeah, I know. Tell them like, oh, I would do anything to have custody of you, blah, 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 blah. And the second they have custody of them, like, you find out they never tried to get custody of you. They do not want custody of you. And you never see them. Like, on God, his work schedule was like insane, so we communicated in post-it notes. I was living alone all throughout high school. It was wild. This is all kids want. Like, I didn't want to be supervised. Like, I grew up really early. I took care of myself. And I was capable of doing that. Like, I think some Asian cultures, is it the Japanese that like send their kids off to high school as if it's college?
Yeah. There's somebody. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's like a really good routine. 'Cause like, high schoolers are responsible enough to live on their own, but they still, before that, they need They need that love from their parents. And I feel as a parent, like, I have this child for 18 years straight is like a daunting thought. But it goes by so fast, and like, it's just the little things. If you can't be chill about like them wanting to do the little things with you, maybe parenting isn't right for you. Like, I don't see how people can have kids just to not put them first in their lives, you know? Like, especially during those formative years. And then, like, expect a relationship afterwards, or expect that to be okay. Like, you have no idea the damage you have done to your child. And all it would have cost was love and attention. And my dog can hear the birds or the sheep outside, so she's like going crazy. Hey, you good? No. But that's my little, this triggered me mentally rant. Like, no wonder I see myself and my little sister in this. Like, fuck. But, for those of you wishing to know, our parents got divorced when I was, like, 4. And if you knew my father, you would know why my mother was not in a good place at that time. And that's not an excuse for her, but it is a reason. So, I don't know if I was ready to play this game, but I'm going to at least try and get chapter 1 done. Sorry for that little interlude.
Ага. А если бы они стали размером с жука, то мы бы их в спичечный коробок посадили.
Yeah, and if you'd made them as small as bugs, we could place them into a little box. Yeah, I'm Anton. Oya giggled and tugged at my sleeve.
Тоша, пойдем Аладдина смотреть.
Tosha, let's go watch Aladdin. Who the fuck is Tosha? What is Tosha? Because his name is, I just had it. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy.
Вымотался я. Что-то не хочется.
Anton. Maybe it's a, like, familial name for, like, a big brother. Like, my little sister would be mi hermanita in Spanish. I am too tired. I don't want to. Literally, just, if you're too tired, just go in her room, lay down with her, and let her watch her things. But also, it's not the kid's job to raise his sister, honestly.
Ну пойдем.
Come on.
Мне скучно одной, а мама занята все время.
So boring alone, and mom is always busy.
Можно выбрать другой мультик, который ты еще не видел.
We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before. I do wish I had spent more time with my sister. We had like literally nothing in common.
Да я все наши кассеты наизусть знаю.
I know all of our tapes by heart at this point.
А вот и не все. Ты Питера Пэна не видел.
Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan and you just said you're going to sleep. Like, literally just go sleep in that
Помнишь,
room.
ты уснул на середине?
Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? Fall asleep in the beginning of it.
Там потом такое. Ну пойдем. Пойдем.
And so much happens after that. Let's go. Let's go.
Давай попозже.
Maybe a bit later.
Рассказать тебе, чем все закончилось?
Should I tell you how it ends?
Утром расскажешь.
Let's leave that for tomorrow.
Утром не захочу.
I won't tell you tomorrow.
Придумала. А давай в прятки.
I know, let's play hide and seek.
Нет, Оль.
No, Olga. Olya.
Тогда нарисуй мне динозавра.
Then draw me a dino.
Оля, блин.
Olya, please.
Нарисуй.
Draw it. Honestly, out of the two of us though, I was the crackhead.
Да оставь ты меня в покое!
Leave me alone already. I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. I never screamed at my little sister like that. Cannot claim that. Olya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I think you guys are just growing up, because we escalated to like knife fights. I hurried to prevent Olya from crying.
Ладно, уболтала. Давай смотреть мультики. Только недолго.
Alright, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit.
Уже не хочу.
I don't want to. I came up to her, put my hand on her soft head.
Пойдем.
Let's go.
Питера Пэна посмотрим.
Let's go watch Peter Pan.
Ага, ты опять уснешь.
Boo, you'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless.
Не усну, обещаю.
I promise I won't.
А потом я тебе целого трицератопса нарисую.
And I'll draw you a full triceratops later.
Ура!
Hooray!
Трипик! Сыри! Попса!
Triceratops.
Почти.
Good, close enough. Olya rubbed her eyes. What are you huffing and puffing?
She hears all that stuff going on outside.
There's stuff going on outside?
You hear all the birds?
Nah. Can you give her a treatsy weetsy?
Yeah, where are they?
Huh?
Back there?
Yeah. Baby. Pretty baby. Get her on the couch. Olya rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas, and a shining smile returned to her face.
Давай ты пока кассету перемотаешь, а я у мамы попрошу сгущенки с хлебом.
I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread, and you rewind the tape.
Только утром свежий привезли, как ты любишь.
The bread is fresh, just how you like it.
Неси, только аккуратнее, а то разольешь.
Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk,
Опять ругаться будут.
or you'll be yelled at again.
Спорим, не разолью.
Want to bet I won't spill it?
Кассета где-то в тумбочке. Поищи пока.
The tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it. Olya disappeared into the doorway, and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. All three of my grandmothers could sew. I don't think you need to look in her piggy bank. The old photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. Hello, Static, my old friend. The tube warmed up and familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. It was a dark. I don't know if you're done or not, or if you're just infinitely looped. I feel like you're infinitely looped. It was a dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did it catch some rogue signal? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently, I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna. What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Olya had asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her. But in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. I sifted through the shelves full of dolls and blue hippos from Kinder Surprise. I found the tape I needed thanks to its shabby spine. I got the black rectangle from its box. The tape inside it rustled while rewinding to the beginning. This rustle was lulling me to sleep. Drowsiness attacked me while I was squatting before the TV. Ooh. That's good. Do a squat while you're drowsy. That way you'll fall either way and you will wake up. Well, you can definitely sleep while squatting. Maybe. I will test that at my earliest convenience. Images whirled in my head. Me and Olya flying above the forest, tumbling in the soft clouds. My little sister is laughing, but her smile becomes more and more forced with every passing second. I noticed that the clouds underneath us part, bearing the bristly pine tops. Swampy darkness slurped among the trees. The wings are no longer able to hold us, and Olya...
Ты не смотришь без меня?
You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. I rubbed my eyes.
Нет, садись.
No, come sit.
Мама с папой опять ругаются.
Mom and Dad are arguing again.
У них сейчас период такой.
They're going through rough times.
Глупый какой-то период.
Rough times are lame. On the screen, Wendy was hiding Peter Pan's shadow into the dresser. Olya was entertained by the cartoonish dog Nana.
Может, и нам родители собачку купят?
Maybe Mom and Dad will buy us a dog too.
Ага, Как же.
Yeah, right.
В Небыляндии у меня будет своя собственная собака. И кошка. И попугайчик.
I'll have my own dog in Neverland, and a cat, and a parrot. Olia smeared a slice of bread with a thick layer of condensed milk and handed it to me.
А у тебя все молочные зубы выпали?
Have you lost all of your baby teeth?
Конечно.
Obviously. Olia frowned, deep in thought.
У Питера Пэна зубы молочные.
Peter Pan has baby teeth.
Вдруг со взрослыми зубами тебя не пустят в его страну?
What if they won't let you go to his land with adult teeth?
Мы что-нибудь обязательно придумаем.
We'll think of something.
Попросим папу исправить тебе возраст в паспорте.
We'll ask Dad to
Чего это
alter your
папа
age
будет
on the
документы так
passport.
делать?
And why would Dad forge documents? Oya took a bite from the sandwich and started talking with her mouth full.
Будет. Мама говорила, что он так делал. А я подслушала.
He would. I heard Mom say that he did that before.
Смотри, уши вырастут, как у Дамбо.
You'll grow ears as big as Dumbo's. Oya got worried and touched her ear. I smiled to myself. My little sister was silent now. She just devoured her bread, watching the adventures of Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, and James Hook. As if she got sucked into the fairy tale Neverland. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where no one ever ages, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sounds of broken plates at night. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality.
Тоша, скорее, штору задерни!
Tosha, shut the curtains fast.
Зачем?
Why?
Никто же на тебя не смотрит.
No one's watching you.
Уже темно, а когда темнеет, прилетает сова.
It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes.
Я боюсь.
I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. I did my best not to look outside, towards the treetops, towards the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from the shadows of branches scraping the snow.
Тоша, мама думает, что я напридумывала про сову.
Tosha, Mom thinks I made the owl up.
И папа считает, что раз я маленькая, это значит врушка.
And Dad, too. He thinks I'm a liar because I'm small.
А сова есть.
But the owl exists.
Вот честная-пречестная, есть она.
Honestly, it does.
Ты же мне веришь,
You believe me, right?
что она там и каждую ночь прилетает и...
That it comes every night and I swiftly grabbed Olya's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities?
Я тебе верю, слышишь?
Yes, I believe you, all right?
Ты только родителям больше не рассказывай про сову.
Just don't nag our parents about it anymore, okay?
У них и так хлопот по горло, они только рассердятся.
They're already dealing with a lot, so they might just get mad at you.
Ты мне говори, если что случится.
Come and tell me if anything happens.
И в окно не смотри.
And don't look out the window.
Но она хочет, чтобы я смотрела.
But it wants me to look.
Перехочет.
Doesn't matter.
Притворись, что ее нет и не было никогда, что она выдумка, как родители говорят.
Act like it doesn't exist and it never existed. Like it's made up. Just like mom and dad say.
Ей ждать надоест, она улетит.
It'll get tired of waiting and fly away. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Olia's eyelids had dropped. She started snoring lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. I stood up and left Olia's room. I was looking out the window, studying the field, when Mom peeked into my room. This isn't boring, I'm just perpetually tired.
Довольно баловства.
Enough playing around.
Завтра первый день в школе.
It's your first day at school tomorrow.
Ложись, тебе надо выспаться.
Go to bed. You should sleep properly.
Не хочешь же ты, чтобы тебя все дразнили Соней?
You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Adults think everything is so simple. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just a part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on and on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. It has come after all. The day I feared the most. The first day of a new school term.